In the whirlwind of life's daily challenges, it often feels like we're caught in a relentless storm, pulled by responsibilities, expectations, and unforeseen obstacles. Each day becomes a marathon where every step drains more energy than the last. We find ourselves juggling personal dreams, professional duties, relationships, and an endless stream of unexpected curveballs. And in trying to keep up, we sometimes forget to breathe. There's a quiet pressure behind it all, the constant need to succeed, to meet deadlines, to live up to society's standards and our own expectations. It builds up like a storm on the horizon, slow, heavy, and unrelenting, leaving us feeling worn out, frustrated, and sometimes even lost. It's in these moments of inner chaos that the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius becomes not just relevant, but necessary. His words, written centuries ago, offer us a compass in the confusion, a quiet strength, a timeless voice that reminds us we are not as powerless as we feel. Aurelius believed that our perceptions shape our experience more than the events themselves. Life doesn't always offer us control over what happens, but we always have control over how we choose to interpret and respond. That, he said, is where our true power lies. Think about that for a moment. It's not the traffic, the workload, the argument, or the failure that overwhelms us. It's how we react to it. Aurelius taught that by becoming aware of our judgments, we can reshape our reality. If we choose to see adversity as training instead of punishment, everything changes. We stop being victims of circumstance and become masters of our own experience. He also emphasized something most of us struggle with: acceptance. Not passive defeat, but a clear-eyed acknowledgement of what is. Acceptance, in Aurelius's view, is the first step to freedom. When we stop resisting what we cannot change, we release ourselves from unnecessary suffering. The gap between expectation and reality shrinks, and in that space, peace emerges. But this kind of peace doesn't come from ignoring life. It comes from showing up with intention. Aurelius believed in the pursuit of virtue as life's highest goal. He didn't preach perfection. He encouraged us to live by principles: courage, integrity, kindness, resilience. These values aren't abstract. They're practical. When life gets messy, it's virtue that keeps us grounded. When the world pulls us in every direction, it's these inner anchors that remind us who we are. And through it all, Aurelius never forgot the most sobering truth: nothing lasts forever. The pain you feel right now, it will pass. The frustration? Temporary. The setbacks, the criticism, the heartache, they are all part of a larger rhythm that continues to move, whether we fight it or not. This awareness of impermanence doesn't make life meaningless. It makes it precious. Aurelius urged us to remember that everything is fleeting, not to cause fear, but to create focus. When we understand how brief this life is, we stop wasting time on petty worries and start investing in what truly matters. Another pillar of his teaching was the practice of introspection. Aurelius believed that true wisdom comes from turning inward, not to escape the world, but to better understand how we operate within it. In his journals, he wasn't lecturing others. He was questioning himself, examining his flaws, reflecting on his motivations, asking again and again, am I living in accordance with my values? Am I improving? Am I honest with myself? This kind of self-reflection isn't easy. It requires honesty. It demands vulnerability. But in doing so, we build something powerful: self-mastery. By understanding our own thoughts and behaviors, we begin to recognize the patterns that either move us forward or hold us back. We gain the ability to course correct, to pause before reacting, to choose our path with clarity. Introspection also leads to empathy. When we've wrestled with our own flaws, our patience for others deepens. We stop expecting perfection and start offering understanding. That shift from judgment to connection strengthens every relationship in our lives. Now, let's talk about something modern science agrees with, something Aurelius lived by long before it became popular: mindfulness and meditation. While he didn't use these exact words, his life and writings reflect them. He spoke often of returning to the present moment, of observing his thoughts, of stepping back from emotion to gain perspective. Mindfulness means being here, now. It means tuning into the present without judgment. When we're mindful, we interrupt the autopilot of stress. We stop living in reaction and start choosing our responses. In the stillness of mindfulness, we can recognize that most of what disturbs us isn't real danger, it's our mind spinning stories. When we watch those stories instead of believing them, we regain our footing. We remember that we are not our thoughts, we are the observer of those thoughts. And meditation offers a structured way to build that muscle. Whether it's a few minutes of focused breathing, visualizing peace, or simply sitting with silence, meditation quiets the noise. It creates space. And in that space, we find clarity. It doesn't have to be mystical or complicated. It just needs to be consistent. A daily moment where we unplug from the chaos and reconnect with ourselves. That small practice, done over time, builds enormous strength. Together, mindfulness and meditation are tools not for escaping life, but for facing it with renewed clarity and calm. They give us back control not over the world, but over how we carry ourselves through it. Marcus Aurelius didn't offer us a life without problems. He offered us a way to meet those problems with wisdom. He reminded us that we are not defined by what happens to us, but by how we respond. He believed that every moment, no matter how difficult, holds within it an opportunity for growth, for virtue, and for peace. In conclusion, the fatigue you feel, the emotional exhaustion, the overwhelm, the weariness, it is real, but it is not permanent. And more importantly, it is not the end of your story. You are still in control of your choices. You can choose to pause, to reflect, to breathe, to rise with clarity and face life again. Not as someone who is broken, but as someone who is becoming. Marcus Aurelius's timeless philosophy isn't about escaping the storm. It's about becoming still within it. By practicing self-awareness, embracing virtue, accepting what we cannot change, and grounding ourselves in presence, we slowly transform the way we experience life. Not in some distant future, but here. Now, because the only life we truly have is the one we're living in this moment.